Okay, let's jump right into this explainer of the It Works scripting technique. Today, we're exploring a seriously effective method originally laid out in the classic book by R.H.J. and recently broken down by a vet over at My World of Metaphysics. To really get a grasp on how this incredibly powerful law of attraction technique functions in the real world, we're going to follow the journey of a guy named Tomas. Honestly, Tomas represents so many of us. People who are just trying to figure out how to take our scattered, everyday dreams and actually turn them into a concrete reality.
But before we get to Thomas's solution, I have to ask you a really important question. Are you creating your life by default? Because, like so many of us, Thomas used to constantly expect the absolute worst. He'd dwell on past mistakes, he'd stress out about things going sideways at work. But as the source material points out, as long as we're thinking, we are creating, right? So by constantly dwelling on the negative, Thomas was accidentally manifesting those exact negative outcomes. He was basically sending out this giant signal that brought more frustration right back to his doorstep.
Section 1. Meet Tomas and his desires.
You see, Thomas is a really ambitious guy. He's got these massive goals across all different areas of his life, but he totally lacks focus. He's constantly wondering how in the world he's supposed to manifest all these different things at the exact same time. To pull this off, Thomas absolutely needs to make a massive mental shift. He has to move away from creating by default, which is just expecting the worst and letting his thoughts run totally wild, and move over to creating by design. By physically writing out his desires, Thomas is actively reminding his conscious and subconscious mind to stay on track. He's literally taking the steering wheel back, instead of just letting life happen to him.
Let's move right into Section 2, writing the ultimate list.
So this is where Thomas finally stops worrying and starts defining exactly what it is he wants out of life. And honestly, all you really need for this step is a pen, a piece of paper, and a genuine, burning desire to change your circumstances. A lot of people totally mess up scripting because they just scribble down random things as they pop into their heads. But Yvette hits the nail on the head here when she reminds Thomas that the absolute secret behind successful scripting is knowing your deep why. What is it you truly desire, and why do you want it? It's not just about, wanting a flashy new car or a new job. It's about deeply understanding the core reason behind that desire. That underlying emotion, that's the fuel that's going to power this entire process.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here is exactly how Thomas structures this list. He has to narrow it down. Thomas must write his list in strict order of importance. Notice he isn't writing down a million random things. He's limiting it to just 4 or 5 true core desires. Number 1 is his absolute top priority, a new career path, and that's followed by paying off debt, better health, and then a new car. Keeping it concise and ranked like this is exactly what gives the subconscious mind a super clear, prioritized roadmap to follow.
Section 3, the 3 times daily rule. Okay, so Thomas has his prioritized list. Now he has to integrate it into his everyday routine. And this is actually completely different from other methods. Like with the 369 technique, you physically write out your desire over and over again. But with the It Works method, since Thomas already wrote his list, his job now is simply to read it. Here is the exact timeline he needs to follow every single day. First, in the morning, right when he wakes up, like literally while he's still stretching in bed, he needs to pull out his list and read it or speak it out loud. Second, in the afternoon during his lunch break at work, he takes it out of his wallet or pocket and reads it again. And finally, the most important time is at night, right before going to sleep. He reads it one last time and then maybe even leaves it safely under his pillow or on his nightstand.
Now you're probably wondering, how long does Tomas actually have to keep this up? Well, 28 days is the magic number. Yvette strongly recommends sticking to this daily routine for a minimum of 28 days to really build the habit and program the mind. However, if these are true deep desires, they aren't going to just miraculously fade away in a month. So realistically, Tomas should continue this exact routine until his desires fully manifest into his everyday reality.
Section 4, maintaining belief and action.
Because look, reading the list isn't just pure magic on its own. While he's repeating his daily reading routine, Thomas can't just sit around on his couch waiting for a brand new career to literally drop through the ceiling. He has to cultivate the right mindset and couple it with real physical momentum. There are 3 essential mindset steps Thomas has to follow here. Step 1, he must actively take steps in the direction of his goals. If he wants a new career, he needs to be updating his resume and actually applying for jobs. Step 2, he has to fully believe his list and let his subconscious mind grasp it as ultimate truth. And step 3, and honestly, this is the hardest one for most of us, he cannot worry about how it's going to happen. He just has to trust that once his subconscious believes it, it has to manifest. Figuring out the how is simply not his job.
But hey, what if things shift as Thomas grows through this process? It is perfectly fine if Thomas realizes, say, halfway through the month, that he actually no longer wants something that's on his list. People change, and our goals evolve, right? If that happens, he simply takes that item off, adjusts his order of importance, and rewrites a fresh list. Actually, scratch that. It's not even a big deal. The list should always just be a perfectly accurate reflection of his current, truest desires at any given moment.
Section 5. The Power of Gratitude. As Tomas takes inspired action and faithfully reads his list 3 times a day, those desires are inevitably going to start showing up in reality. But this requires a really profound appreciation for everything in his life. Gratitude here requires a 50-50 split. Tomas must express deep, genuine gratitude for what the universe has already given him, because, as Yvette points out, there are plenty of people who would absolutely love to be in his shoes right now. At the exact same time, he must be equally thankful for every single new manifestation that arrives on his path, even if it's something as incredibly small as a $5 raise at work. Practicing gratitude just amplifies this entire process.
And here is a huge, critical warning from Yvette for when those good things actually do start happening. Never, ever brush them off as mere coincidences. Don't just shrug and say, oh wow, that just happened out of the blue. No way. When a blessing from Tomas's list arrives, he needs to stop right there in that exact moment and give thanks to the universe or to God for the blessing. Acknowledging that the system is actually working is exactly what keeps the manifestations flowing in.
Now, if you're sitting there wondering if this actually works in the real world, Yvette shared her own stunning proof. She used a simple little piece of paper written on both sides to manifest the exact layout of her home's upstairs. She had an image on her vision board, she followed the strict "it works" technique, and she manifested it perfectly. I mean, it matched her vision down to the very specific bar stools, the sofa, the TV, and the fireplace. The whole shebang. All just from writing it down and reading it 3 times a day.
So, as we wrap up this explainer on Tomas's journey and the incredible "it works" method, I want to leave you with one final thought. Think about this carefully. If you grabbed a pen and a piece of paper right now to start your own list, what is the single most important thing you truly desire? What is your ultimate number 1? Get clear on it, write it down, and start your own 28-day journey today. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating technique, and I highly encourage you to go out there and start creating your life by design.